weekend, everybody out there in keyboard land. This is Keyboard Bad Mark with Mech Tech for you here today. And I'm going to start a small series. I've been doing some commissions for friends and stuff. And I'm just going to kind of do build logs. Just, I don't know, maybe I'll share some information or learn something along the way. And I wanted to bring you guys along with me. So today, this is a build for a friend. This is actually the third commission I've had for this specific keyboard, all in the different colors. But it is known by several different variants. The one that we have today is the LK67. But this is also known as the TM or the TOM680. And colloquially it is known as the poor man's GMMK Pro, because it's basically the same except it's missing the function row keys and a couple buttons on the side, but you got a knob. And we're going to be putting in some black switches today. So we joined the linear gang for my friend, and she was really excited about this. It's a backlight shine through keycap set that's basically a pretty nice color. I'd call it a gradient, I guess, transition gradient. And she's gonna mix that with the RGBs. So let's get going, huh? We're gonna make this keyboard just a little bit better. I mean, it's a decent kit. This really is a decent kit. If you guys haven't tried this, please check out Budget Keys on Reddit, and you'll see a lot of people really love this board and have nothing but good things to say about it. And if you take your time and your patience, you will get a good experience. So we have a nice little, clear plastic acrylic, but not too many boards come with this, and you can, if you want to, use it as a dust cover. It comes with your simple manual, just the basic commands, and of course in its own little bag. Just to follow through with a quick unboxing, let me put this back, because I know she'll want it packed up nicely. It also comes with, because this is a kit, comes with a decently braided USB-A to USB-C cable and a really decent key cap puller and switch puller. So, and there's the Bluetooth for 2.4 controller for in case you don't have Bluetooth. I prefer to use Bluetooth, but that's just me. So we're going to go ahead and put that back in there and put that back in the box, as we have plenty of those of our own we will be using. Just stick that back in here. Let's get that plate in there, make sure we're not crushing it. And my friend chose the pink variant, which purchased from China. It was here in about, I'm going to say 15 days, but it is Christmas. Actually, I thought it was pretty good. Just so that everyone knows, north-facing LEDs. It's got the compatibility for the 5 pins. It usually comes with some really good stabilizers, especially the latest, the new ones. They used to come with black stabilizers, but now that they come with the colored ones, you can see that right off the bat, these stabilizers are about as good as you can attach plate-mounted stabilizers. So we may not need to do much but to clip and lube these, although I may do the Band-Aid mod just to add that a little bit more, because just a slight wiggle, but hey, we'll see. I'm also going to go over the process. I have another video on this, but it's the process of removing this plate when you're this is obviously, she wanted the 3 mode. This keyboard comes in 2 different ones, a wired only mode or a Bluetooth 2.4 wired mode. For a long time, a lot of people were breaking this little switch right here, which decides whether you're off in Bluetooth mode or in 2.4 mode. There's the pretty RGBs. So because they were trying to disconnect the plate before actually taking the top part of it off, and that's what we're going to do here. I'm just going to show you how I did it. But the first thing that you have to do is to remove that knob. And if we want to remove that knob in a way that it's not going to scratch it, we're going to need to take some sort of cloth. I like taking our microfiber cloth. I'm sure if you guys have ever bought a cell phone screen protector or other electronics, you've gotten one of these. Just so you know, off of eBay or even Amazon, you can purchase bulk packs of these, and I think I paid $8 for 1,000 of these years ago, and I'm still using them. So what we're doing, I'm doubling it over here. I mean, I don't want to even, I guess I could triple over. Basically what I want to do, I don't want to squeeze too hard on it. I just want to make sure that I have a grip on it as I slowly start to push pressure up. See, and that way I'm able to take the knob off, and all the lines on it are still fine. So we didn't scratch that up. Now, these knobs can be found, and actually I've printed a few different variations on my 3D printer of knobs that you can replace with that will work right in here. But obviously we're going to keep it stock with her pink one. And obviously you could take the original one, and as long as you cover up the hole, spray paint it, dip it in something else, you know, go fun with it. This is a great, like I said, again, a great keyboard kit. So we're going to go ahead now. Oh, now that was my bad. I apologize. I just knocked you guys with my head. So what I'd like to find, and I thought I had on here, but I don't seem to see. Looking for my plastic spudger is the best way to get in here. Hold on a second. So I personally prefer these plastic spudgers to do this part. Just so you can see. I'll bring this up close. See it right here? Here, here, here. These go all the way around and even into there and there. Those are the clips that are holding this top piece of the case on there. So what we're going to want to do is push on that just slightly and up at the same time. Now some of these might give you a bit of trouble, but do not push too hard. You might have to go around a few times to get that latch to come undone. But basically, just like I said, you want to push it and up. Push it out and up. Unlock, push up. And as you start to go around it, it'll start to pop up. Like I said, you don't want to use too much force because you can break those tabs off, though they are quite strong. They can break off, and well, that's what you don't want to be doing that. Alright, the top one is always just a bit more, especially this one for some reason. I think, oh, no, honestly, I messed up. I skipped a step, just so everybody knows. So, before we try to take the top housing off, we have got to get this, the ring for the knob off. And, oh, that's the wrong one. And the way that I did this before, I think we can actually use a pair of tweezers. There's these 3 holes that are just keeping this in place, locked in place. But if we can get underneath it, actually, yeah, just with your fingernail, then you can pull this clip out. That's what I was forgetting. Okay, so that clip needs to be pulled out as well. Now I forgot. Now that's why it was wanting to be a bit of a pain here, because that was still attaching it there. So we go back to doing these side tabs. Like I said, push out and up. Push out and up. That one's up. That one's up. That one's up. That one's up. This one, yep, that one's up. And then we just got the last one. Like I said, this one's where you want to be careful because you can break them. And let's not do that, right? Alright. Just the bottom of the tab and get it out. All right. So, like I said, with a little patience. So we fill out 1 half. Like I said, don't use too much force. Don't force it. You want to be very gentle, like you're working with baby. And that one, I don't know why it's just this one. Why is it not running? Huh. Huh. Here. That little pin was just wanting to not come out. That is odd. Huh. Alright, well, that little pin this is new. This must be a new design, because this little pin is not on the previous ones. And if I would have used a little more force, I would have broken it. I don't think it would have compromised it too much, but just not a good thing. Alright, so now that we've gotten these out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and need our magnetic tray here so we can keep track of our screws. I know what this goes to. That one actually should be sticking in it, but I know what it goes to. Alright, so now we've got, look, oh, I thought it would ding, but we actually have a steel plate right here, and that's part of the reason why I think, well, this amongst other things makes this a great board. So what we're going to be doing here, we don't have much space and we have some spots we have to avoid, but we're going to be adding some weight down in here, and we're also going to be putting some foam in between. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, these are definitely the new ones. Looks like we do not have to put foam. Huh. There is already foam. Huh. Will. Huh. That honestly is crazy. It's amazing. It's pretty cool. So what I'm going to go ahead and do then is let's go put some switches in the corners so that we can go ahead and unscrew this puppy out. So we got blacks. They've already been lubed. Alright, let's put one here. And what I'm doing here is just so that we keep the plate and the board aligned when we unscrew it. I'm just being extra fragile and careful since this is a commission. If it was my board, I'd probably be a lot rougher. But, I mean, obviously we don't want to pop any hot sockets out. Alright? That corner and this corner, that should be good. And of course, we're near the screws. Alright. So now let's go ahead and grab our electric screwdriver. Let's take we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like 8 screws, alright. So we're keeping the switches in there basically, I mean, there might be something more attached. Like I said, this is a slightly new design. It looks like I've gotten a new revision of this board because it definitely looks different than the ones I've been working on, both wired and 3 mode. I always forget one. Let's get this separate from the rest. Make sure I'm not missing another one. Nope. Alright. So here, now we got to remember we still don't want to break this little tab right here. What's going to happen is we're going to pull up and out. But we also have to remember that underneath here there's a battery attached. Ooh, yes, we have a battery. We have a battery attached. So, you can kind of see in there. So, we want to be not only careful of not pulling that battery cable and damaging it, but we want to make sure that we're pulling forward or towards ourselves as we pull out so that that little switch does not get snipped. Yep. And there we go. So now we can go ahead and take the switch out, put it out of the way, and go ahead and lift it to a comfortable position where you're not pulling or pushing any weight. And then we pull out the battery. Alright. So now we have the plate and the PCB connected. Oh, it looks like they did do some grease. So, well, at least the encoder knob has been greased from the factory. But we're going to go test this here in a minute before we go too much further, just to make sure that everything is working as expected. And then we're going to go ahead and do the tape mod to this. Like I said, I'm not sure. We'll take a look at that as well. But the part that's coming up next for me, that's going to take a while, so I want to go ahead and start it now, is we're going to fill the majority of these cavities with some epoxy resin, some 2-part AB resin that will allow us to still have the light shine through from beneath. So like right here, I think we can go in those corners. I don't really want to go inside of where the battery compartment is, so we'll kind of just leave that alone. But we have a couple of spots, like basically, we'll leave. That's where it starts to dip. I want to go there. I want to go there. I think I can go here. It's not going to go very high on the coats. Thankfully, if it goes wrong, we can always start over. So, and with this, let me go ahead and mix my 2-part solution. I will be right back. Alright, so got our A and B, and we're going to go ahead and mix it together. Like I said, we don't got much. There's not really that much space, but this definitely gives it just that little bit extra weight and allows us to do some more sound dampening to make this a nice, quiet keyboard. Thocky. My friend is definitely looking for something that's not going to wake up the whole house. They do a lot of typing, so. But I think she'll be happy with how this turns out. Alright, we've got both parts mixed. Get about as much as we can out of it. And then we're going to stir like crazy for a minute here. We want to go from the center out so that we get the best kind of even weight distribution. So we're going out from the battery. So I'm going to start with these two, this column basically over here from the top down. Like I said, I probably won't have it. I may have to make another batch. I don't know. I'd rather make too little than make too much and not need it, because then it kind of just goes to waste if you have no place to put it. So put a little bit here, and then we put a little bit here. Pour some in here. And then we're going to go pour some here. Now the nice thing about this is, for some reason we pour too much, we can just take the piece out, either cut it down or just start over. So once it dries, it just peels out very nicely. So, and then, last little bit here. Obviously we want to avoid getting this in any of the holes, because that would cause troubles. We need our holes to be clear for the screws. We don't want any impediment there. Alright, so we got that one. Still be safe to not touch the battery. It may not fill, but I'm going to try something a little bit different on this one. It doesn't work well, but I learned something. I've been adding pennies for weight. So I'm going to give, I usually hot glue them in, but let's see what happens when we drop them straight in the resin. Huh? And let's try to be even here. So we'll put one over here, one over here. Over here, and over here. Over here. Over here. Why the weight? Well, the weight makes it feel more substantial. And I also think it helps to deliver that better, deeper thought. Can't stop using that word, but I think that word is just appropriate in this instance. So we'll have to do 5 to stay even here because we're going down the middle and not everything is even. So, and obviously that's going to cause some spillage into other spots. Let's go ahead and yeah, I guess that one's not going in. Let's see a spot to stick it. And we put it here. And there we're going to have an issue with that. I think we'll be fine. Let's put it right here. Alright. Well, let's see how that turns out. So I'm going to go ahead and let this set. I think it needs about 4 or 5 hours. So we'll be back with this one after this break. Well, yeah. I don't have any sponsors, so no worries about ads. Haha. Just a quick little note on the new LK67s. It looks like not only are they greasing their stabilizers at the factory, which way up, down, but they're also clipping the legs. So I don't know how well you can see that, but it's a pretty good job. Doesn't want to focus. Yeah, they're lubed and the legs are clipped. And like I said, I was going to modify these, but I really truly see no reason to, as they are basically perfect. So, and they snap in, they're quite tight. I mean, it took a little bit of force to take them out, but they're in there solid. I just wanted to add that because I was going to do the tape mod, but I really don't think there's a need for it. Just wanted to add that to the build. While that resin is drying, I'm going to go ahead and do the tape mod. Now this I've seen a while back and I just didn't think it would make a difference, and I tried it and I did notice a difference. While slight, there is a difference there. So I've always got painter's tape hanging around, so to me it's just it's worth the effort, and it's not going to screw anything up like that. But I like to make sure that I know where the stud holes are at, so I can go ahead and punch them out. So I got one right there, one right there. All right. So I line it up with the board. So for the sake of completion, I don't want to show all the switch lubing. I just want to show me doing an individual switch. I'm going to just angle this out because I'm going to be doing it closer to myself over the work. I've already done them at a separate workstation while this dries out. So first we grab the switch, we put it into the switch opener. This is a dual switch opener. A lot of folks don't know, even though there's a Cherry MX, compatible, and while most of them will fit in most hot swap sockets, there are two different types of top and bottom housing. Basically, the box and the Cherry, I think they're called. I've seen them called many different names, but ones that have these short little legs, and others which I don't have handy, and I don't want to just veer off, or do I? Yeah, alright. So you can see the difference on the sides here if I move a little bit closer and see if I can get some, give me some focus. Give me some focus. Oh, it doesn't want to focus. focus. There we go. All right. So you see the one on the left that has two little legs, and that's the basic style. And then the one on the right is more of a kale style, which is a box style. So whenever you buy a switch opener, make sure to get a dual switch opener that has both. Some of them are 2-in-1, where if you put it in one way, it'll open these, the regular stem, the 4 legs, or you put it in the other way, it'll open the box, the 2 tabs. So just a real quick, this is clear. All right, so I wanted to go ahead and just open one up and just give an example. With this one, actually, I was going to try to put in some films, but there wasn't enough space, honestly. All right, so you pop them in, you press it. I forgot I got it closer to me, and it basically pushes up on the little tabs on each side. And then at this point, we're going to open it up, and we're going to open up into its two main constituent pieces: the top housing and the bottom housing, and then the internals. All right, so I'm going to take the top housing and set it aside for the moment, and then I'm going to just show real quick what we've got here. Is the spring, and that's not what I want. I want this. The spring and the metal leaf. When the stem goes down, this is what makes the connection, and it tells the PCB, the board, that this is the key that's been pressed. Now, I'm not a fan of bag lubing because I'm not a big fan of having to untwirl them, and I just think, I don't know, that's just me. Comment differently or tell me why I'm wrong. That's fine. I'm still learning the way I like to do it. Not that way. That was wrong. I like to pick them up, and I like to dip them into the 205 grade 0. And I don't want to say the brand that I'm using because I don't want to give any precedence, but I just put it down at the bottom. I try not to put too much, just enough. Put a little too much, you'll get like a weird little sucking sound. But that's basically all I do for the spring. Once you start pressing that, that's going to lubricate the entire spring. And then I take out what's the stem, and we come back to the top housing. The top housing has the stem inside of it. So I like to grab the stem, and everybody uses these. I don't always use them. Sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. Oh, no, actually I did forget one more thing I need to do here. I'm sorry. I'm a little scatterbrained. We had to make a tough decision about our elderly cat just a couple of days ago, and we're still just dealing with it. And I'm sorry to veer off, but hey, I prefer to be honest. And hey, what's wrong with this guy? I take a little bit of the lubricant, tiniest amount, and I like the rule. I know we already did this, so I'm just gonna set it down upside down so we don't lose any of the grease already applied. Yeah, this is not the proper way. Like I said, I did the other ones off camera. This one I'm just doing for the sake of being complete. But all I do is do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's on the inner channel of the slide where the stem goes into either legs. Now, these are linear switches. There are different ways to do tactiles, but I'm not going to cover that. Like I said, I'm just dealing with these because my friend wants a nice, oh, my apologies. I'm trying to get a little bit closer, straighten it up. Sorry if I made anyone dizzy there. So, again, a little bit. Takes such a little bit. It really doesn't take much, but I mean, you got to put it on there too at the same time. So I like to go down the stem, and also I like to do part of the leg that actually is what actuates the metal leaf spring, and then I do around the world on the bottom part of the stem. All right. And like I said, I I'm not going to do films with these. They're quite tight. I could do them by cutting out a piece of them. It's just I really don't want to do it. And I don't think they need it once it's all put together. So now we did put the stem over. I mean the stem. I'm sorry. We did put the spring over here. Oh, well, that's not what we want to do with it. All right. So we put that down. Now, this is where these holders come in handy, because you don't. When I first started doing it, I started doing it in this, and I would wonder why I would have trouble closing it. It's in an opener. It's actually meant. It's in the state to be opened. All right. So I've got the stem. I want to go ahead and take it. That's why I don't use these, but. And drop it in, and always the legs are going to go towards the closed housing, not the opening for the LED. So, alright, and then we want to make sure that we line it up. So I'm grabbing here. I'm going to try to bring this closer. I grab it by the stem. Obviously I can't pull it out this way. Oh, I just lost my glasses. My apologies. And I make sure it goes first into the stem and then into the channel. Make sure I can press down on, oh, that's not on the channel on the other side. Oh, it's on this side. On this side it went and did its own thing. Alright. Yeah, I got it backwards. I'm trying to put it in backwards. Oh. Oh. Yeah. You would think I'd edit this, but I'm not going to. This is how I do. This is how we do it. Sometimes there's mistakes. Like I said, I'm trying to do this one with a camera, filming it as opposed to just actually doing it, which can sometimes make things just a tad more difficult than they need to be. So again, we're going to try to line it up first with the spring. Make sure that that bottom stem is in the spring, and then make sure that those legs for the stem are going down into the channel. And once we know that, we can press down all the way, and we have closed the stem, or closed the switch. And now we have a lubricated switch. And then, oh, you can't see the mic. Yeah, that's much better than stock. So I just wanted to bring that in. We're doing this for all 68 keys, so that we get the best experience. We're also going to be adding some O-rings. This is going to be a very nice, deep but quiet keyboard. Well, that's what we're aiming for, and I think we're going to get there. I'll be back shortly. The edge of it, so that it doesn't cause any problems going into the board, because we have some pretty tight tolerances once we get inside the case. Not always perfect, but usually enough to make a difference if we don't tighten her up. Alright, so there we've got the battery port is free and clear. The mods that we were going to do to the foam, basically I was going to do the foam, which is already there, so that's taken care of. And now this is going to add that extra layer, and we've got the pennies inside of the resin procuring, which is going to give it that extra bit of weight, and we should be good to go once that resin dries. So I'll be back here in a little bit. We'll check to see how that resin came out. Yeah, because it's still got a while to cure. I'm kind of afraid of a little bit over in one of these spots. Let me see. I know I got that sort. I just want to make sure we didn't go over to the point where it's going to cause an issue with closing this puppy. So basically just scooting some of this over here. Do the same thing over here, although there's not as much. Obviously you don't want to be messing with it too much while it's curing, but if you see a spot of contention, I guess you could try to fix this. As you can see, it has a 40-minute work time, so it really doesn't start setting until 40 minutes. And don't go by mine. Each one has a different time for setting. So some set within 5 minutes, some set within 40 minutes to an hour. So I got this one because actually I intend to make some artisan caps, but I never quite got there. Not yet anyway. So I'm just using this for right now to coat the bottom of plastic cases and give them a little bit more substantial feel. So, hey, there's that knife I was looking for, of course. So I will be back here, folks. So that said, I'm going to go ahead and do the last modification to this board to give it what I think will be the ultimate experience for my friend. I mean, obviously, that's the intention for the beginning, to deliver a board. I mean, just learning about this not too long ago, and now here I am taking commissions, and I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, sorry, I was looking for something. I just knew where it was, but not that I need it right at this moment. Well, I made a mess. Anyway, is the O-rings. Let me go ahead and pour some of this will make it easier. Now the O-rings, we go ahead and basically, if you're not familiar, you go ahead and stick them there. Now there's different color O-rings. Why they offer O-rings in colors is beyond me. I mean, unless you're not using the RGB. But if you are using RGB and are using shine through, then, I mean, it's just best to just get the clear ones. They're just, I mean, they're the same price, and they're not going to affect any other color. Because, I mean, it might diffuse some of it, but it's not going to block any of it. So if you're using the, I mean, anytime get O-rings, and I've actually gotten to the point that I just do them on all of them. You know, I am Team Linear, but to me it just delivers the best experience with whatever switches you're using, because it gives it just that little bit of an organic kind of feel. Not quite a membrane, mind you, but it gives it a nice feel. Alright, so obviously on these that require more, go ahead and put one on each. And basically, once you stick this in. So here we are. Basically, we're going to have some placeholder keycaps until my friend can get some either novelty or blank caps to make up for the fact that this keycap set doesn't have the keys that we need, which is a shame. But I still think that she's extremely happy with this. Is going to be happy with how this types. This is her first custom mechanical keyboard. So anyway, right now I am at the last step of doing the modifications, and that's just adding clear O-rings, these tiny little things. And I prefer to get the clear ones because if for some reason, you know, some people do like the shine through, and I admit I do have some keyboards that do have shine throughs, but this isn't going to diffuse the light. So with the colored ones, I mean, I've seen it block a little bit of the light, make some of, part of the clear see-through legend not be able to be seen. So I prefer to just go ahead and get the clear ones right off the bat, and that just saves you some trouble. So yep, depending on how many studs you got here, you go ahead and stick it in. Like I said, she has a basically placeholder shift key, control key, function key. Basically, you just roll it onto the stem at the bottom. Once you push it in, it's going to slide all the way up. So it's basically going to create a bit of a cushion between the key and the switch. And then an alternate alt key. Obviously, the function key, she said, is the most important one for when she needs to use the function route. But honestly, I'm of the opinion that the TM680 should be crowned. I mean, not that there is a organization that crowns certain models of keyboards, but perhaps there should be. Is the king of the budget boards, because there's not too many kits out there that gives you not only the out of the box, I mean, it is a kit, but out of the box it's ready to go. Just stick some switches in, it'll deliver a decent experience. But with a little bit of time and effort, this really delivers a board that's easily a daily driver for most people, myself included. I've used the TM680 and worked off of it, and I'm usually TKL with a numpad when I'm coding, but I'm able to work off of this board just fine and dandy, and that says a lot, because it does deliver the entire experience. I mean, yeah, of course you have to remember the other layers, but it's a solid board. It can be modified to the extent where it just delivers, I don't know, it feels like it's worth a lot more. Alright, well, so let's put some of these back all on. Let's have a few extra with her just in case she needs to replace them. Not that they wear out, but if one's lost or something, might as well have some spares than not. These are, like I said, I'm starting putting them in all keyboards. It's a good thing to have around. So now we have the TM680, the LK67 custom commission. We have blacks, and we have this radiant keycap set. So let's go ahead and do a sound test. Now, I'm not sitting at an angle I can type too fast, so just bear with me. It won't be fast, but it will be accurate. Well, as accurate as I can get.